According to the Asanga, the great Buddhist philosopher of the 4th century AC, Sarada, has three aspects: full and firm conviction that a thing is, serene joy at good qualities, aspiration or wish to achieve an object in view. However you put it, faith or belief, as understood by most religions, has little to do with Buddhism. The question of belief arises when there is no seeing, seeing in every sense of the word. The moment you see, the question of belief disappears. If I tell you that I have a gem hidden in the folded palm of my hand, the question of belief arises because you do not see it yourself. But if I unclench my fist and show you the gem, then you see it for yourself, and the question of belief does not arise. So the phrase in ancient Buddhist texts reads, realizing as one sees a gem or a myrobalan fruit in the palm. A disciple of the Buddha named Musila tells another monk, Friend Sawita, without devotion, faith, or belief, without liking or inclination, without hearsay or tradition, without considering apparent reasons, without delight in the speculations of opinions, I know and see that the cessation of becoming is nirvana. And the Buddha says, O bhikkhus, I say that the destruction of defilement and impurities is meant for a person who knows and who sees, and not for a person who does not know and does not see. It is always a question of knowing and seeing, and not that of believing. The teaching of the Buddha is qualified as ehipasika, inviting you to come and see, but not to come and believe. The expressions used everywhere in Buddhist texts referring to persons who realize truth are the dustless and stainless eye of truth. Dhamma Jakku has arisen. He has seen truth, has attained truth, has known truth, has penetrated into truth, has crossed over doubt, is without wavering. Thus, with right wisdom, he sees it as it is, yatha bhutam. With reference to his own enlightenment, the Buddha said, the I was born, knowledge was born, wisdom was born, science was born, light was born. It is always seeing through knowledge or wisdom, jnana dasana, and not believing through faith.
This was more and more appreciated at a time when Brahmanic orthodoxy intolerantly insisted on believing and accepting the tradition and authority as the only truth without question. Once a group of learned and well-known Brahmins went to see the Buddha and had a long discussion with him. One of the group, a Brahmin youth of 16 years of age, named Kapatika, considered by them all to be an exceptionally brilliant mind, put a question to the Buddha. Venerable Gautama, there are the ancient holy scriptures of the Brahmins handed down along the line by unbroken oral tradition of texts. With regard to them, Brahmins come to the absolute conclusion. This alone is truth, and everything else is false. Now, what does the Venerable Gautama say about this? The Buddha inquired, among Brahmins, is there any one single Brahmin who claims that he personally knows and sees that this alone is truth and everything else is false? The young man was frank and said no. Then, is there any one single teacher or a teacher of teachers of Brahmins back to the 7th generation, or even any one of those original authors of those scriptures who claim that he knows and he sees? This alone is truth, and everything else is false. No. Then it is like a line of blind men, each holding on to the preceding one. The first one does not see. The middle one also does not see. The last one also does not see. Thus, it seems to me that the state of the Brahmins is like that of a line of blind men. Then the Buddha gave advice of extreme importance to the group of Brahmins. It is not proper for a wise man who maintains truth to come to the conclusion, this alone is truth and everything else is false.
Asked by the young Brahmin to explain the idea of maintaining or protecting truth, the Buddha said, a man has a faith. If he says, this is my faith, so far he maintains truth. But by that he cannot proceed to the absolute conclusion. This alone is truth, and everything else is false. In other words, a man may believe what he likes, and he may say, I believe this. So far, he respects truth. But because of his belief or faith, he should not say that what he believes is alone the truth, and everything else is false. The Buddha says to be attached to one thing, to a certain view, and to look down upon other things, views, as inferior, this the wise men call fetter. Once the Buddha explained the doctrine of cause and effect to his disciples. They said that they saw it and understood it clearly. Then the Buddha said, O bhikkhus, even this view, which is so pure and so clear, if you cling to it, if you fondle it, if you treasure it, if you are attached to it, then you do not understand that the teaching is similar to a raft, which is for crossing over and not for getting hold of. Elsewhere, the Buddha explains this famous simile in which his teaching is compared to a raft for crossing over and not for getting hold of and carrying on one's back. O bhikkhus, a man is on a journey. He comes to a vast stretch of water. On this side, the shore is dangerous, but on the other side, it is safe and without danger. No, no boat goes to the other shore, which is safe and without danger, nor is there any bridge for crossing over. He says to himself, the sea of water is vast, and the shore on this side is full of danger, but on the other shore it is safe and without danger. No boat goes to the other side, nor is there a bridge for crossing over. It would be good, therefore, if I would gather grass, wood, branches, and leaves to make a raft, and with the help of the raft cross safely over to the other side, exerting myself with hands and feet. Then that man, O bhikkhus, gathers grass, wood, branches, and leaves and makes a raft, and with the help of that raft crosses over safely to the other side, exerting himself with his hands and feet.
Having crossed over and got to the other side, he thinks, this raft was of great help to me. With its aid, I have crossed safely over to this side, exerting myself with my hands and my feet. It will be good if I carry this raft on my head or on my back wherever I go. What do you think, O bhikkhus? If he acted in this way, would that man be acting properly with regard to the raft? No, sir. In which way then would he be acting properly with regard to the raft? Having crossed and gone over to the other side, suppose that man should think, this raft was a great help to me. With its aid, I have crossed safely over to this side, exerting myself with my hands and feet. It would be good if I beached this raft on the shore or moored it and left it afloat, and then went on my way, wherever it may be. Acting in this way, would that man act properly with regard to that raft? In the same manner, O bhikkhus, I have taught a doctrine similar to a raft. It is for crossing over and not for carrying it, literally getting hold of. You, O bhikkhus, who understand that the teaching is similar to a raft, should give up even good things, dharma. How much more then should you give up evil things, adhamas? From this parable, it is quite clear that the Buddha's teaching is meant to carry men to safety, peace, happiness, and tranquility, the attainment of nirvana. The whole doctrine taught by the Buddha leads to this end. He did not say things just to satisfy intellectual curiosity. He was a practical teacher and taught only those things which will bring peace and happiness to man. The Buddha was once staying in Simsapa forest in Kosambi near Allahabad. He took a few leaves into his hand and asked his disciples, what do you think, O bhikkhus? Which is more, these few leaves in my hand or the leaves in the forest over here? Sir, very few are the leaves in the hand of the Blessed One, but indeed the leaves in the Sinsapa forest over here are very much more abundant.
Even so, because of what I have known, I have told you only a little. What I have not told you is very much more. and why I have not told you those things, because that is not useful, not leading to nirvana. That is why I have not told you those things. It is futile, as some scholars vainly try to do, for us to speculate on what the Buddha knew but did not tell us. The Buddha was not interested in discussing unnecessary metaphysical questions which are purely speculative and which create imaginary problems. He considered them as a wilderness of opinions. It seems that there were some among his own disciples who did not appreciate this attitude of his. For we have the example of one of them, Maluncha Putta by name, who put to the Buddha 10 well-known classical questions on metaphysical problems and demanded answers. One day, Maluncha Putta got up from his afternoon meditation, went to the Buddha, saluted him, sat on one side, and said, "Sir, when I was all alone meditating, this thought occurred to me. There are these problems unexplained, put aside and rejected by the Blessed One. Namely, 1. Is the universe eternal? Or 2. Is not eternal? 3. Is the universe finite? Or 4. Is it infinite? 5. Is the soul the same as the body? Or 6. Is soul one thing and body another thing? 7. Does the Tathagata exist after death? Or 8. Does he not exist after death? Or 9. Does he both at the same time exist and not exist after death? Or 10. Does he both at the same time not exist and not exist? These problems the Blessed One does not explain to me. This attitude does not please me. I do not appreciate it. I'll go to the Blessed One and ask him about this matter. If the Blessed One explains them to me, then I will continue to follow the holy life under him. If he does not explain them, I will leave the order and go away. If the Blessed One knows the universe is eternal, let him explain it to me so. If the Blessed One knows that the universe is not eternal, let him say so. If the Blessed One does not know whether the universe is eternal or not, etc., then for a person who does not know, it is straightforward to say, I do not know, I do not see.
The Buddha's reply to Maluncha Putta should do good to many millions in the world today who are wasting valuable time on such metaphysical questions and unnecessarily disturbing their peace of mind.
Did I ever tell you, Maluncha Putta? Come, Maluncha Putta, lead the holy life under me. I will explain these questions to you. No, sir. Then Maluncha Putta, even you did you tell me, Sir, I will lead the holy life under the Blessed One, and the Blessed One will explain these questions to me. No, sir. Even now, Maluncha Putta, I do not tell you. Come and lead the holy life under me. I will explain these questions to you. And you do not tell me either. Sir, I will lead the holy life under the Blessed One, and he will explain these questions to me. Under these circumstances, you foolish one who refuses whom? Maluncha Buddha, if anyone says, I will not lead the holy life under the Blessed One until he explains these questions, he may die with these questions unanswered by the Tathagata. Suppose Maluncha Buddha, a man is wounded by the poisoned arrow, and his friend and relatives bring him to a surgeon. Suppose the man should then say, I will not let this arrow be taken out until I know who shot me, whether he is a Satriya of the warrior caste, or a Brahmana of the priestly caste, or a Vaishya of the trading and agriculture caste, or Sudra of the low caste. What his name and family may be, whether he is tall, short, or medium stature, whether his complexion is black, brown, or golden, from which village, town, or city he comes. I will not let this arrow be taken out until I know the kind of bow with which I was shot, the kind of bowstrings used, type of arrow, what sort of feather was used on the arrow, and what kind of material the point of the arrow was made. Maluncha Buddha, that man would die without knowing any of these things. Even so, Maluncha Buddha, if anyone says, I will not follow the holy life under the Blessed One until he answers these questions such as whether the universe is eternal or not, etc., he will die with these questions unanswered by the Tathagata. Then the Buddha explains, Maluncha Buddha, that the holy life does not depend on these views. Whatever opinion one may have about these problems, there is birth, old age, decay, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, distress, the cessation of which, i.e. nirvana, I declare in this very life. Therefore, Maluncha Buddha, bear in mind what I have explained as explained, and what I have not explained as unexplained. What are the things that I have not explained? Whether the universe is eternal or not, etc. Those 10 opinions I have not explained. Why, Malunchaputa, have I not explained them? Because it is not useful. It is not fundamentally connected with the spiritual holy life. It is not conducive to aversion, detachment, cessation, tranquility, deep penetration, full realization, nirvana. That is why I have not told you about them. And then what, Malunchaputa, have I explained? I have explained dukkha, the rising of dukkha, the cessation of dukkha, and the way leading to the cessation of dukkha. Why, Malunchaputa, have I explained them? Because it is useful. It's fundamentally connected with the spiritual holy life. It's conducive to aversion, detachment, cessation, tranquility, deep penetration, full realization, nirvana. Therefore, I have explained them. Let us now examine the Four Noble Truths which the Buddha told Malunchaputa he had explained.